to Still a Hot Mess, where we ask the question, is self-help helping? Every episode we discuss, debate, and often diss an aspect of the self-improvement movement.
Drawing from our own experiences and talking with personal growth experts, we want to know, is it all too much? Has it gone too far? Is it making us even more neurotic? Is this self-help or self-help?
You make a mess of me. You make a mess. You make a mess of me.
We're doing this episode. It's a special edition episode, and we're using everyone's new favorite online tool, Zoom, because we can't hang out together at the pod plant right now. We can't
Oh, I thought you meant Pornhub.
No, Fanson. Remember the pod plant where we used to record our episodes? Anyway,
I
stay
love
with
the pod plant. I miss the pod plant.
So do I. I mean, who knows what the hell this is going to sound like? But anyway.
Well, you know, I do a podcast with Mike Wixon, who actually is the reason why the pod plant exists. He is the pod plant.
He is.
And
Mike Wixon.
He's over there. He's over there all by himself. He's isolating, but he's churning out the podcasts, and you know, it's an essential service. Apparently.
Well, Fanson, let's plug that podcast.
Oh man, that's my dog.
That's Walter.
Walter,
that's okay.
Yeah. Come on. This is what podcasting from home sounds like.
Exactly.
A shrieking dog.
Yeah, we're keeping it real. This is life. This is life at home. This is how it goes now, right? There's nothing, you know, smooth and sexy about anything anymore. It's very real and honest,
it's
and raw,
very hairy,
and it's imperfect. I mean, this is it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's messy.
Yeah.
And that's our brand. So please don't worry if Walter starts barking, or if many children come running through the living room. This is it. We are on brand at any moment because, well, we're still a hot mess.
Because we're still a hot mess.
Anyway, we
were always a hot mess. We never tried to say, hey, man,
no,
I'm not a hot mess. We're like, come on, guys. Are you sure you're not a hot mess?
Exactly. So we're here to say that we are still as messy as ever in this global pandemic, in this quarantine lifestyle. Now, of course, as we record this episode, it's week 7 for us of isolation because we live in Canada. We are in Toronto, Canada. And so we're on week 7. We thought we would do an episode today about just using self-help in the midst of a global pandemic.
Are you using self-help?
Yeah,
because I think what's interesting is the idea of this hot mess that we are. And I would say I might feel a little less of a hot mess.
I feel that too. My anxiety is the lowest it's been in a long time. Well, the version of anxiety that I've grown to know and love. But
right, this could be a different anxiety.
Oh, I do believe it is, and we'll get to that. But really, yeah, can self-help help as we face new reality during this? And of course, this is our new favorite word, during this unprecedented time. Have you heard that word as much as you have in the last month? The word
well, I'm in the TV show making business, so everything, you're hoping everything's going to be unprecedented.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we are in a new reality in this unprecedented time. And so could self-help help us during this unprecedented time? But before we get into all of that, Fanson, tell me, how have you been? How have you been in the last 7 weeks?
Goodness gracious. You had so much to say there.
Yeah.
Is this the time to switch to decaf?
Have you been, or have you gone off coffee?
I haven't. I've been off coffee. Yeah. I'm not a big coffee drinker, so I think I'm just asking. I think, coffee should take a little step back. You think about how much we all spend on coffee. You think about how much you're saving now. I mean, are we all going to go back to the obscene expense of our, Starbucks and whatnot? I hate to pick on Starbucks, but on those daily coffees, do we need to do that?
So are you saying that in this simpler time with, spending less, that you might actually continue that, as we go on into this
I
new
think
world?
what I'm saying is what I said. Maybe coffee will take a step back. Do we need to be spending that? Do you think we need to be spending it? Do you spend it?
I do not buy coffee outside of the home. It's a very rare occurrence if I do that. I make my coffee at home in the morning, and yeah, it's very rare that I, go to a Starbucks or any other, cafe.
Okay, so we're picking on people, and we really have no right to do so because neither one of us is actually getting our daily dose outside the home.
Not really. So that is not a change in my lifestyle that I have experienced. I'm drinking coffee at home like I always did. Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. So no change there.
But have you reduced your
I feel
coffee
like
because you wanted to reduce your caffeine, like just to kind of help your nervous system? Is that no?
no, I
No,
just
that's
haven't felt like it. I think that part of it is just I'm not functioning at that high energy neurotic level. I'm not out there hustling like I would be. So I'm more or less going from my workstation to the fridge to the couch to Netflix, to a Zoom call. So I'm not really burning anything. So I don't feel the need to like wake up and give myself a shot in the face. And I'm not really I don't require that kind of energy. So there's a little more of a not flat line, but a nice baseline.
you flatten the curve of your caffeine.
I haven't
Okay,
flattened my own curves, but
yeah,
I feel pretty level.
it's interesting how people can smoke a joint in the morning, but if I have a cocktail at 10 a.m., I've got a problem. I don't know. I've never
Right.
understood that. Right.
Or
But
if you have a slice of sourdough,
right.
can you go too far?
Yeah. Well, you know what? As I see it, like half of us are going to come out of this like in the best shape of our lives, speaking some foreign language fluently. And then the other half of us are going to come out of it like 20 pounds heavier with a drinking problem. So I don't know what team you're going to be on, if any, if you could put yourself in one of those teams. You've been working out, right? You've been running.
Well, yeah, I've been doing some stuff. I mean, I am finding that it's just not coming off or it's not even maintaining quite to the level that it would because, as I said before, without all that nervous energy keeping me together, my metabolism isn't functioning, I guess, the same. So I'm not feeling tight. Like I just,
Right.
and like small price to pay, whatever.
Oh,
so I'm
sure.
going to have to work a little harder when I get out of here. Or maybe not. Like I really appreciate those step counters now. I used to think they were the stupidest thing I'd ever seen.
Oh,
and now I'm like, I appreciate those.
Yeah, I've got an app on my phone. It's called Pacer, and I love looking at how many steps. I actually went out for a big walk this morning because it's really nice here in Toronto today, and 15,000 steps, girl. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a very tangible form of self-help. That's a little device that actually helps you clock your number of steps, and you can look at that and say, you know what, I'm good for today, or I'd like to do a little better tomorrow. Like I appreciate that kind of regulating a platform, whatever it would be. But it's like self-helpy.
Oh, I mean, getting outside, moving the body, right? Get out of your head, back into your body, and fresh air, sun, maybe, hopefully. Yeah, I think that's powerful. That's as good as any meditation or any, self-help book or anything like that is so soothing. It's and grounding. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder, maybe people are reading more, and so there's people who haven't dabbled in self-help before, like, you know what, I'll try this one. I'll see if I'm a candidate for this kind of lifestyle. But again, I argue that the lifestyle is about reading and not doing, versus possibly your point of view, which is read and learn and then possibly focus yourself in a more productive way. So I don't know, but I will say that I find the most interesting thing about this time is the coming of change, or the actual change itself of being in isolation, and how we're going to deal with change, whatever that means in the future. So does self-help help with the emergence of change, especially being that it's unknown? This whole idea of the new normal, again, a term I do not like. But, we don't know how things will be different on the other side.
Yes, I'm not sure if, well, I mean, I certainly have read some powerful books about change. Like, Neil Donald Walsh wrote this one book that certainly has left quite an impression on me, has shaped my perception of change. Like he says, when everything changes, change everything. So it's actually up to us then to
it's a
what he's
mind
talking,
bend, that one.
when everything changes, change everything. And so
Brain
here we are,
bender.
looking out at what you say, this new reality, whatever it is. And it's like, it is going to be up to us then to, change ourselves, to then adapt.
Okay. I have an interesting thought on that though.
Yeah.
So with this idea of everything having changed, where now we're inside and we're talking, we're having parties and conversations over Zoom and we're baking. With this change, I feel like in some ways it's also returning us to some sort of familiarity. And if you really want to observe what you're doing, you might find that the essence of what you do to get through when things are normal is actually still in place as you live in this new place. So, like for me, one thing I observed was it didn't take me very long to start signing up for courses, ways of improvement.
Yeah.
And, right now I'm overwhelmed with places, Zoom conferences and classrooms and stuff where I'm enrolled. Because I guess I do enroll myself, and then I end up going, oh my God, I'm spinning a lot of plates. And it's funny because in this time of quite frankly, a fair degree of calm, I'm enrolled and I'm like trying to keep up with myself. So that's very predictable.
Listen, I have reacted or responded to this time of stillness with the lack of distractions and diversions. I responded the exact same way. I feel like I'm on a self-help sabbatical now. I'm like enrolled. Are you doing the course now too? I enrolled with Yale for the science of well-being. And then I'm taking another online course with Martha Beck, who is one of my favorite self-help authors, a spiritual gangster, if you will. And then, I'm reading a ton of self-help books again and listening to podcasts. And I'm.
So you're going back to your like self-help journey. I'm going back. Like for me, I am taking that Yale one because you were like, I love it. And it came up on Facebook. And then I was like, it's free.
Sure.
And I thought we'd have something to talk about on the podcast. And I did go for the certificate, by the way. So
I probably will too.
Certified. But I'm really doing like writing courses. I'm studying with my mentor in New York. And so I feel like I'm, in different, like it's a variety of things. And I tend to do that. Like I'm working with somebody to improve my guitar, like a friend of mine. So it's like all the seeds, like I'm spreading them out again.
Cool.
But that is a tendency of mine. That's not like, hey, look what this is bringing me. It's more like, oh, there I go again.
Well, I mean, is it fair to say that one of the ways that you cope in life is by being very busy, very active? I mean, honestly, you're out there all the time, involved in things and part of groups, and you're taking things and teaching things. Like you are one of the busiest human beings I have ever met. And so I think you're just now creating a new version of that within the home. And I mean,
I suppose for me, things could maybe get a little too still. I do have the capacity to sit and enjoy, but I need to move because it'll build up. Like I might be okay for a couple days, and then all of a sudden I'm like, like I got to do something. And the teaching is great. Like I do feel purposeful with that. And I used to do some stuff in my community, and I'm not really able to do that right now. So generally speaking, I'm feeling the calm, and I'm allowing myself to feel calm and just go, fuck it. It's okay. But if I look real close, I'm like, yeah, but you're doing it. You're finding ways to busy yourself and all that stuff. So, so I theorize that maybe if we all look, even like just a little deeper, you might go, oh, how I am through this is how I am.
Yes, wherever you go, there you are. Even if if wherever you go is, your home, you are still running your energy the same way. So you and I both like to learn.
With so many shifts, in the way things are, that you're still, maybe your tendencies or your habits or your, like those things will still shine through somehow.
I was listening to Jan Arden's podcast the other day.
Jan.
Jan. And she's been doing like episodes like this one where she is, really talking about these times in this global pandemic and quarantine life. And, her mantra, I've heard her say it in a few episodes now, good things come out of bad things. And I would say for me, this self-help sabbatical, I mean, really, this is one of the best things. Oh, there's Walter. That's all right.
Yeah, I gotta, hold on. I gotta deal with the backyard.
That's all right. I'm just going to tell you this like you're sitting there right now. So for the last few years, I've wanted to change things up in terms of like the ideas and messages I share on stage as a speaker. And I've known that in order to do that, to kind of reinvent myself and say different things and share different messages, I would have to set aside a lot of time.
Susan, wait.
Yep, no problem. Oh yeah, no, I know you're listening. You're from afar. Anyway, I always knew that if I wanted to have new content for the stage, that I would have to set aside a lot of time for research, which never happened due to the typical distractions and diversions of life. And then life came to a grinding halt like 7 weeks ago, right? And now that there's like sweet F all to do and nowhere to go, I finally have sat my ass down and I've gotten down to the work that I've always wanted to do. Like, honey, you know what? If you're going to say different things on stage, you're going to have to research. And so finally, I have sat down. I have done some research. And so
did I make any difference in that when I kept telling you that the self-help authors I really respected were those who actually were either research-based or had some letters after their names?
Oh, and I mean,
did I have any influence on that through this podcast or anything? Tell me I have value. Validate me.
I see you, Fanson. I hear you, Fanson. And you know what? I have always.
So that was a no.
No. I'm going to tell you right now that I have always tried to do my due diligence in my research. I've never wanted to stand on stage and talk out my ass. I have never wanted that. So I have always.
You mean like Ace Ventura or?
Right.
You don't mean literally.
Right. Can I ask you a question? That was so funny. I love that movie. Jim Carrey. Anyway, no, but I've always wanted to be well-researched. I never did want to be somebody just fucking saying shit because it sounds pretty. Like I've always had science behind me. I've always had, research behind me. I've had experts behind me. And so I have just enjoyed my self-help sabbatical. Yep.
Nice. I think there are two people in this world. I think there's people who think Jim Carrey is crazy and people who think Jim Carrey has figured it out. Which one are you?
Has he figured it out in terms of comedy? Like he's
no, you don't know all the stuff he's up to with his painting and his like oneness and everything.
Oh no, I know he's a very spiritual person. And anything that I've heard him speak of, it's resonated with me.
Okay, so you're on the side of he's figured it out.
Oh yeah. Oh, I think he's a very enlightened being. I think he's got a level of consciousness and awareness that most people don't. And yeah, people could look at him or listen to him and go, okay, crazy. Okay, kooky kook. I don't know. Like, sure.
Kooky kook. I wonder if it took it must have just taken time, or if there was like one movie where he just snapped, like if it was like The Mask, or if it was Liar, Liar, or like some movie where he was like, wait a minute, this whole thing, I'm somebody else. I'm not even me, but am I me? And what is me? Like, I wonder if it just snapped. I wonder if it was like one day or if it was just slowly over time. He was like, little drop of something there. Save that for later. Anyway, I don't know. But personally, my stress levels and what causes them have become more clear to me than ever before. Like, I realize I'm not always stressed. I'm generally just more irritated. Now, you might say that being irritated stresses you out, but that would be your projection, because sometimes being irritated is me. Like that's how I get irritated and then I release it through either comedic means or through my writing. Like I still have stress spikes, but they seem to be, I would say, if anything, it would be like financially related. That's where I get stressed. Other than that, I don't know. I would say that social interaction, although I recognize as a human that I need it, I don't need it like crack.
Yeah.
Like I actually have been less anxious due to a lack of interaction with the busy world. I like the quiet.
Yeah.
I don't have a high tolerance for large groups over a prolonged engagement. You know, like a crowd for a little while is great, but not like, I don't know. I feel like it's so much energy coming at me and it stresses me out a little, which is fine. I just noticed that.
I would challenge your idea that being irritated isn't a creator of stress, because when you say,
I thought you would.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go there. Is not being irritated a state of arguing with your reality, wishing things to be different?
It might be, but I think what I noticed was that I thought that I was like stressed. And that's what I've been calling it. Oh, I guess I'm stressed. Or I guess that means I'm stressed out. And I'm like, no, just irritated. Just irritated. This situation irritates me. And being that, you know, I do take the time to sort myself out. I'm not like, I'm not walking around going, Garr! Like sometimes I do. Sometimes I certainly do. But I'm able to kind of go, yeah, I'm irritated and it's going to pass. But it's being irritated specifically, not, I don't like, stress now has become a general term. And it like, to me, I needed to break it down for myself.
Yeah.
You know, not just like stress. Like, what is it? Like, really?
Well, you bring up an interesting point, because on one of the podcasts that I've been listening to, I've been listening to, by the way, just, you know, if anyone's interested, I've been listening to Brene Brown's new podcast called Unlocking Us. I think you'd really like it too.
Brene.
I've also been listening to Dan Harris's podcast called 10% Happier.
Just 10%. That's it. That's all you get. 10%. And then you're cut off.
It's based on his book called 10% Happier. And he talks about just, things we can do to be 10% happier, rather than thinking that we're going to, like, you know, do a huge overhaul and become this new person.
Oh my God. I don't even bake with a measuring cup. What am I doing with 10% happy?
I liked the idea. I liked how just saying, hey, what about 10% happier? You know, it seemed like more of a realistic
baby steps.
Goal than something lofty like, you know, happier human being. Anyway, so I bring up these podcasts because this idea of meta feelings was suggested or taught to me in both these podcasts. David Kessler, I don't know if you've heard of him.
You mention him frequently.
Yeah, because I'm on.
I think of him because you mentioned him because of grief. Because I told you, I think we're all grieving, and I feel like I've grieved my whole life. It's just varying degrees, and whether or not you are in denial with it. You know, how do you sit with your grief?
Yeah, so David Kessler on both of these podcasts talked about how we are, as you said, we are all experiencing a very powerful level of grief. And, you know, we sometimes associate grief with the loss of a loved one, but it's the loss of anything, right? Like, as you said, maybe a childhood, maybe a relationship, maybe a job, or maybe a reality that is gone forever. I mean, we have to admit that things are never going to be the way that they were. Exactly.
I have a problem with that statement, and let me just say why.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't trust it. That's what it is. When I hear things are never going to be the same, they're never going back to normal, I don't dispute that things are going to change. I just think it's such a general statement, like that, to me, could induce fear in some people, and in other people it may give them less hope, or it might excite other people. Like, you don't know what
definitely it's going to be.
It'll never be the same again. It's like, but we really don't know anything right now. The only thing we know is that it's a restructuring of an economic order for sure, and that we're dealing with a pandemic, with a virus.
Yeah. And so I think it's a game changer, like 9/11 was, but on a much larger scale. You know, how 9/11 changed the way that we travel. I do think, you know, that we'll look back. Of course, we're going to get through this, but we will see how it has changed our behavior in our society and sociological, culture. Like, we'll probably think.
Yeah, but I mean, just specifically with that, what I mean is, so after 9/11, how we travel changed. Now, there were other things that changed, but it wasn't like It wasn't like we're never going to be the same. Like you might say, based on that occurrence in our lives, in our times, that did change us in some way. Like I would agree with that.
Yeah, it's not to assume that it's going to be a negative new reality. It's just going to be, different on some levels. And so what we are
it's going to be
we
different.
are doing is we are mourning, a reality, a way of life that will not look exactly the same. There are going to be changes.
Well, it's like when I had a bad breakup, and
Sure.
and I was like, so devastated, and then I was like, oh, I'm never gonna find anybody else, all those things, and somebody said to me, you'll find somebody else, and I was like, yeah, and it'll be better, and he was like, no, it'll be different.
Sure. I mean,
and I thought that was huge. And I don't know if that was his or if that was from a book or if that was like, I don't even care. But it was really helpful because I thought, yeah, it's not like I need to put down the person I was with to make myself feel better and to say it's going to be better. It's that it's going to be different. And that's a good thing because this one didn't work. This way didn't work. And I think that one of the things we're going to find, or what we've discovered, is there are things that we've had in place that don't work. There are things that ways we go about living that don't work. And so now we have an opportunity to find a different way, which is so great with how we opened the podcast with your need.
That's right. Well, I mean, yeah, life has sent us to our room to think about what we've done. And I think we are being given an opportunity to experience a major reset, whatever that is, whatever that means to you, a reevaluation, an examination of our beliefs, our behaviors, our habits. Like I know for me, I will, once I leave this loft one day and I go out into the world again, I think I will still want to live a bit more simpler. Like you talked about not, buying coffee, and that's of course representative of this. But yeah, I think I will probably cook more at home and eat out less. Not to say I don't want to get out there and support the restaurants, but I just see how much money I'm saving. And
I have to admit, I don't go to restaurants to support them. I go to restaurants because I love their food.
I'm also saying that we'll probably want to go out and support and enjoy their food at the same time. But
we're going to want to get that economy.
Well, I mean, I certainly have some affinity to some of our local restaurants that I will want to, kind of help boost up.
For sure.
Anyway. So,
but it's funny when you say here in Toronto, when you actually go outside, and here we are in April, and it's been, not so great out. We've had some real gloomy days, lots of wind. I have a theory on that, and I would love a scientist on our show so I could ask he or she the question. So I might tell you the question. But here in Toronto, because we've had, fortunately, such gloomy weather, it's kind of like Mother Earth saying, stay the fuck inside.
Just like the Queen did in her very British royal way. Stay the fuck home. That's basically what she said. That's what she said in that message. Stay the fuck home. Listen, I've looked at it as a blessing. We've had a shitty April like we always do. We had a couple nice days right at the beginning and we got a bit excited. But then April broke our hearts like she always does. And I've been thinking, yep, and it's a damn good thing because we have been in a winter quarantine. Let's admit it. This is what we do every year. We go into our winter quarantine. Yeah. Here we only go out when
it builds character
for essential services, and then we scurry back home because it's freezing out. And so yes, the warm weather, if it had come for April, we'd be further behind in our efforts to flatten the curve.
I mean, I think that we have to be real careful not to judge how other places in the world are dealing with it. Maybe there's some places we could judge. I won't name names, US, but
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right. But I just think, climates are different, lifestyles are different, and it's not time for us to be, becoming divisive because we think that your policies are a little off and ours are the best and whatever. Like, chill out. It's okay. Every government is trying to deal with this.
So I agree. We're all, I mean, really, like as Brene Brown said on one of her podcasts, we are dealing with what she calls a FFT, I call it a freaky first time when I'm, speaking of it to an audience. But it's really a fucking first time, FFT. And she reminds us that like nobody has ever really, faced this, in our living years. We really never have dealt with a global pandemic before. So we're all,
and
we're fumbling around as
each
countries and as towns and human beings. We're fumbling around and trying to get our bearings and do the right thing, but maybe not do the right thing, and making mistakes, but doing the right thing, and whatever.
Well, each population manages their situation based on like unique factors of the area, right? Like, so what might make sense, like, let's say policies in New York are not necessarily going to align with Saskatchewan.
Sure. Yeah, totally different. The population difference is, the biggest one. And yeah, it's just that like really we're all just doing our best because we've just not dealt with this before. But as you said about the weather this month, I went down to the boardwalk this morning to get my steps in.
Yes.
Because it is sunny and warm today. It was lovely. And I couldn't get over the look of Lake Ontario with the lack of pollution.
Was it just so beautiful?
It looks like the Caribbean. Lake Huron has this look because it's less polluted, and so does Lake Superior. But oh my God, like seriously, Fanson, it looks like something out of the Caribbean or the Mayan Riviera. It is so beautiful now. So it's an interesting impact.
And of course, the millions of people that listen to this podcast just walked up and ran to the boardwalk. Thanks.
That's
Susan
right.
Stewart.
Everybody's swimming in Lake Ontario right now. Ooh, that's chilly. But it's an interesting thing, right? Like in China, they're seeing blue skies for the very first time due to the lack of smog.
Well, look, if nothing else, anyone who was in denial about how humans have impact on this planet, if nothing else, that humans have an impact on this planet, you can see it. We've got the visual support.
I know Greta Thunberg is somewhere just cheering, right?
Yeah.
Hearing.
Now, the question is, are we prepared to do what needs to be done in order for this to maintain itself? And the answer is probably not, to the level that we have done it under these circumstances. But what will we be able to do? What will governments allow? What will the economy allow? That's a great unknown right now.
Yeah. As Jan Arden says, good things come out of bad things. And I just think it's so interesting that the environmentalists are at least now being given a chance to show the evidence. I mean, we can't argue with it anymore. It's not a theory anymore. It's like, what would happen if we didn't create so much pollution? And we're seeing it. I mean, people in northern India, like the state of Punjab, can see the Himalayan mountain range now. They haven't seen the peaks of the Himalayas for decades.
Right.
With the lack of boats and cruise ships, the canals in Venice are crystal clear.
With swans and everything.
No, there's no dolphins flipping around in the canals, but they are crystal clear because of the lack of cruise ships and the tourism with boats. It's just interesting that now at least the environmentalists, science can say, well, it's not a theory anymore. We saw it. Not to say that it's going to, be the thing that changes everything, but at least, someone like, I was about to say someone like Donald Trump can't argue with it. What the hell?
Well, lots of people can still argue with it, but when we've had an opportunity to actually, we can actually say, you've got this list. We've all looked at, what's happening in the world and how pollution decrease has affected things, not to mention just human vibration has affected our waters. I mean, with cruise ships and all these sorts of things. So it's an air travel, like of course it's made a huge impact. I don't remember what I read in the paper, but it was like whatever population particle decrease. I'm not going to do it, but it was significant for sure. What we've been able to do by staying the fuck inside. So as long as we're willing to do very little,
it's not realistic.
The world will be just fine.
Right. It's not realistic to say that we're going to save the planet once and for all by staying the fuck home for the rest of our lives.
It's not realistic. It's unfortunate because what we have to live with, and for those who haven't yet, this is your opportunity to accept certain realities. And that is, we do have an impact. it is not necessarily a completely positive one. Can we start there?
Well, we can, Fanson. Way back
You
about.
know what else I really wonder is
Okay.
Zoom calls.
Yes.
First of all, you and I were talking the other day, and we had both had a Zoom hangover experience.
I woke up the next morning and thought, oh my God, like I'm hungover.
Nothing's changed.
Zoom. Yeah, that's true. I'm still managing to drink excessively with people online. Like,
yeah.
Well,
so
like you
here's
said,
what happened.
You said, Fanson, we don't change. Just because we're at home doesn't mean
we adjust it a little bit. Maybe we dial it down. Maybe we dial it up.
Wherever you go, there you are. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. What are the things that you really love that arts and crafts, obviously everybody secretly was always into arts and crafts, I guess. Just because I see so many artsy things now.
Well, when I go for my walks, stuff, everyone's made these cute signs for the, essential workers and, those.
We were all just dying to get our crayons and our Bristol board out.
And chalk drawings on the sidewalks. Very crafty.
Back to basics.
Right? I mean.
But here, when I was on that Zoom call, when I was getting loaded on that Zoom call, it was so much fun. I had no idea it was going to go 3 hours. I think it went over 3 hours.
Right. Okay.
And it was time. Somebody had to call it.
So
we were having fun, but we still had to call it. Like a couple people had left, and I was like, oh, how did they do that? And that's when I realized I don't know if ghosting a Zoom call is the same thing as like when you're at a party and you're like, I'm just going to ghost. Like I'm out of here. I'm not going to say goodbye to anybody. I'm just going to leave. And then later you can be like, oh, that party was so great. Oh, did you leave? Yeah, I did. Remember we said goodbye? And it's like, I don't remember that. But you can't really get away with that on a Zoom call.
Well, I was having some drinks with a friend of mine on Zoom not too long ago. And like he was on with his partner and then he left and he just fell asleep like off camera. I'm like, oh, where's so-and-so? And his partner's like, oh, he's asleep now. He just went to bed. Now that's something you really.
I felt like it was rude.
I laughed.
I thought, and I feel like this at parties too. And it doesn't mean I think I'm the life of the party because I don't. But let's say it's my own party. Like if I'm having my own party, I don't feel like I should be the one to say, guys, I'm just calling it a night. Keep having fun. Like I feel like if I do that, then there's going to be a few people that are going to follow. They're going to be like, well, if Kel's gone to bed, and when I'm at your place partying or when we're all hanging out, not big parties, but I don't ever want to be the first to leave because I feel like it's means that other people might not because I did, but because somebody did.
Or would it be that you
other
have
people
FOMO?
permission?
Would you have FOMO? Would you be fearing?
If I need to leave, I won't have FOMO if I have to go, unless I've had to go for a reason, prematurely.
Yeah.
Like if I had another engagement that I couldn't get out of, then I'd be like, damn, I don't want to leave. But if I'm like, it's time for me to go. I don't want to be the person that's going to break the seal,
Right. Well, I think if you're the one hosting the Zoom party, it's nice to be.
Yeah, if I'm hosting it, that's tricky.
It's nice to stay online. But also maybe you can just ditch and leave others online. Although if it's your own Zoom account, I think that, I'm not too sure with it. Because your Zoom would just stay on, right?
There's got to be a technique of some form that gets you off that call. Like maybe it's just like something as simple as, okay, guys, that's my time. But
you've been great, everybody. Good night.
Yeah. Thanks so much. But I did feel awkward about it. I felt awkward because I also never know who's looking at me at any given time. Like if I'm talking to a group of people, I know where eye contact's coming from. But when it's a Zoom call, I could be looking at anybody. Anybody could be looking at me. I never really know.
True. It's all we
confusing.
Got. It's all we got. We're hanging on to it with dear life. We're grateful. We're grateful for it. But it's
Books
funny.
About the new normal.
There it is.
Books about the new normal. What you got? Any good suggestions? Well, like if you were to write a book, well, you are writing a book, but if you were to write a book, about the new normal, what would you call it?
Oh, geez. If I'm going to write a book.
Or of the times right now.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just important to probably be reading about how to embrace change rather than resist it. I mean, I think also probably getting very educated on your emotions is probably a good learning or exploration right now. What did you just ask me, if I'm going to write a book or if I'm going to read a book?
What would you call it? So the best I could come up with, like I had Kids Feeling Loved. I had that one. I was like, it's not very snappy, but it's like to the point. Kids Feeling Loved. Kids Learning Life Skills for once. Then I was like, what about this one? Getting a lung butter.
Getting a lung better.
Because coronavirus attacks the lungs.
No, I got that one. Yeah. Getting a lung butter.
Getting a lung butter.
That's funny. So you're
all at home getting along maybe better. Maybe that one's no good.
Okay, so you've thought about this. You've made your cute list of book titles and then just put me on the spot asking me if I was going to write a book right now, what would it be titled? And then you're sitting there going,
not really. I didn't spend a lot of time
on my little list
at all. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. No, I like that you took, it makes sense that you took the approach of maybe read some books that are going to get you to understand your emotions better. Like that's where you come from, right? It makes sense. Where I come from, just make fun of it because
I have to say
a book isn't.
I appreciated your book titles. The lung one is very good.
I don't know if it's good.
It's not bad, but anyway. No, I'm really
maybe I'll write it. Maybe that's the one I'll write. Getting a lung butter. Too soon?
Well, I don't know about you, but I haven't heard from the, having kids is the greatest joy of my life crowd in a while. So I think maybe that book might be timely because I think there could be some parents who need to get along better with their children right now inside, in isolation and homeschooling. I can't imagine working from home and then also like taking care of my kids all day. The parents who have the little ones, right?
You better hope that you're divorced and you have joint custody.
Oh, this is when the divorcees are winning, right?
Yeah, this is when it works.
You can have your hell week and then you have your recovery week, right? Where you can just but honest to God, my hearts, because I have more than one, all my hearts go out to the parents. Like the frontline workers, the essential workers, yes, but also the parents. Oh my God, I can't imagine. I just can't imagine.
Yeah.
Like the homeschooling.
The homeschooling's not easy, but they are getting it online. And I'm with 4 kids here. They're not mine. Mine are grown. But they're not complaining about being bored. We play with them. Their dad's awesome. He's always doing something with them and giving them projects and playing ball. And, we're doing all that stuff. So it's kind of fun. It's not easy all the time, but I don't know. I think it depends what you're dealing with at home and how you choose to look at it for sure on this one, for sure.
I just can't imagine those parents with the young ones who have to have a parent involved with getting them online and being online and doing the homework.
Oh, yeah. No, but then all these kids know that parents don't know anything. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe they're going, you know what? You're not as smart as I thought you were. Because as parents, we're supposed to be their superheroes. They ask us questions and we have the answers. They get stuck under a chair and we can single-handedly lift that chair and get them out. We are the superheroes.
You are.
It's supposed to happen later where they become completely disillusioned by us. But that's supposed to happen later.
Well, I mean, isn't that the cycle where you're all things, you're like this superhuman being when they're little? They idolize you, don't they? They just look up to you so much.
They should. They better if you're doing it right.
Right. And then,
they will even if you aren't doing it right.
They hit adolescence or teen years, and now you're an asshole. You know nothing. They hate you. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to be around you.
That's partly their brains. That's partly what's happening inside. They're not just choosing that.
Yeah, and then what's interesting is that they come around again and they love you all they love you again and you're wonderful again.
As long as you didn't lose your shit and
sure.
break the relationship, like you are still the adult. So you have to make sure that, unless it's extreme situations, that you maintain that good contact with your kids, because times are going to be possibly tough, and you don't want to be responsible for damaging that relationship. So then you don't have the joy of them in your life for the rest of your life, which is why else would you have them,
Yeah, it's just interesting how it comes kind of full circle, that later in life when they're in their 20s or something, and of course they have a fully developed frontal lobe, then and then the parents are likable again, and they need them again, and they're interested in their advice, and they want to be around them again. It's a very interesting thing.
I think in some cases it may become that our lives become relatable because typically they might get married and have kids and all that kind of stuff. So there are things like that you can relate to together. And again, as kids, when we don't spend time with our kids, we don't have shared experiences or enough, and we don't have shared activities. And those activities can end up being hobbies that you enjoy together as your child becomes an adult. And so that becomes special time that you spend with your child when they no longer live with you or whatever. You have things that you can do with them. And I think that that's very important, is to create those hobbies or those interests where you find that you align in some ways.
Yeah. Good things come out of bad things. And so I think for a lot of families, this time of isolation or quarantine will be very special. That they had those weeks or those months where you were together, just doing simple things, or, making arts and crafts, or playing and watching Netflix together. Honestly, life is usually so busy, and now families are actually sitting down and having dinner together almost every night. That's amazing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I actually think we're going to come out of this looking back on it fondly. I actually think
we're sending our kids to boarding school.
Well, that's for sure. Or sending them off to the grandparents who seem to be really missing them for some reason. But yeah, but I do. Don't you get that feeling like we're actually, not maybe right away, but in a couple years, we'll look back and go, that was kind of special. What do you think?
I think we're going to look back and go, I was a real dirty person.
Oh, I am
horrified. How hygienic are you? Should we play that game? How hygienic are you?
Honestly, Fanson, in this, I have realized what a dirty girl I am. Before this, I would only wash my hands after I go to the washroom, and maybe sometimes before dinner. Maybe.
Yeah. And if anybody is out there going, ew, it's like, okay, you know what? Check yourself. Check yourself.
Who? Really? I don't think many people wash their hands regularly before this.
I think, unfortunately, you are correct. I don't think everybody washes their hands after they use the washroom. And I mean both, 1 and 2, everybody. If you go to a public washroom and even just do your makeup at a club and leave, honey, wash your hands.
But I would go,
it's not just about touching yourself. It's about what other people have touched, and you're touching that, and now you're touching you.
Fanson, I would go to the gym, right? Handle all the free weights and the this and that around the gym, and I'd come home, and I probably most times, 9 times
call that building an immunity,
would not wash my hands, and I would probably start making my breakfast or lunch or whatever. I never thought, I just been at the gym, I'm going to now wash my hands. No. I think we are having a huge wake-up call about hygiene. I think we are. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to continue shaking hands after all this is said and done? Do you think we're going to go back to the handshake? I am thinking we aren't. I don't think we will. That's going to be part of the new reality, Fanson. No more handshakes. I do. I think we're going to. I think we're going to.
I like to kiss. I'll kiss both cheeks. I was raised on a firm handshake. I like my handshake. I know that when I shake someone's hand, I'm confident. I've given their hand a little hug, and I like that connection. So it would be sad to see it go. If it has to, then so be it. But I do like a handshake, and I like fun handshakes, and maybe we all do elbows and weird shit. But I don't think that's going to catch on the same.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we do go back. I don't know.
Do you remember that little hug, that thing we were
the
bringing
man
back
hug
in?
that you and I do?
The man hug.
Where we clasp
we can never do that ever again.
We clasp our hands and then we pull it in.
Each other in.
And then pat each other on our backs like men.
Yep.
Clasp, pull,
Like
and then
men.
pat on the back. The man hug. That's the man hug. And I honestly,
we were co-gendering that.
I don't know. Are we going to be able to man hug again, Fanson? I don't know, but that's interesting.
It's a co-gender hug. We can go co-gender with that.
Oh, I don't know if I've ever seen women do that. Clasp.
But we were going to do it. We were going to make it happen.
Pat? No. I mean, it would maybe have then become a fully embraced non-gender habit, but you and I were going to be pioneers in that effort. I've never seen women do that before. That was going to be something.
Maybe just not in our circles.
Maybe.
Do you shower before sex?
Sometimes, yes.
Do you shower after?
No, I'm too tired.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a tranquilizer. That's like
if you're showering after sex, you probably
are going home then
probably
after
didn't
something.
do
I don't
enough.
know. Or
maybe you did too much, actually. No,
well,
that's okay.
Yeah, right. No,
do you floss?
I'm fast asleep. More than I'm older. Now more than ever. Yep. Yeah, okay. I would say, yeah. More actually right now because I'm paranoid to need dental work. I don't want to have a dentist in my mouth right now. No, thank you.
Because you can't go to the place to fix you.
Well, I can't go see my regular dentist, but I just don't want really anyone in my mouth right now. Well, I mean, a few people, but
a few.
Sure, please. I have a long list.
Do tell. Who's allowed in Susan's mouth right now?
No, the celebrities. My celebrity crushes. Oh, it's a long list, but let's not go there.
Is that what we're going to do with that? Oh no, I just mean celebrities. I just mean celebrities.
Sure.
That's cute. No, I buy it. Okay.
Story.
Do you clean behind your ears?
Probably not as much as I should. Nope. I like cleaning in my ears. Fanson, I'll tell you, I've got a real fetish. I got a real thing for taking a Q-tip and putting it in my ear the way that you're not supposed to. You know, you can clean that.
Okay, that just turned dark all of a sudden.
Well, they say that
you're not
really
supposed to.
Okay, no, you're not supposed to actually put it right in your ear because you're actually then packing in the wax and it can build up, and I have had that situation. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
You're supposed to just clean the right at the outside of your ear, and I like going right in because, quite frankly, it feels good. I'm not going to lie. Okay. Good. Right. This is actually
good. Do you
part of the show?
How many times a day have you typically washed your hands? Not right now, because now is easy. It's all the time. But before.
Oh God. Well, how many times do I go to the washroom in a day? That's exactly the amount of times.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Well, my bladder isn't as great as it used to be. So yes, several times a day.
Okay. So a lot of things are happening with a little aging, maturity. How many days have you gone without showering?
Not more than one.
Wow.
I'm not a camper.
All right.
I'm not a camper.
I'm a constant camper. I'm camping all the time right now. I am showering every day right now because I think there's nothing better to do. But there have been times I've been on like camping trips or at home writing, and it's like a marathon.
I really, really like I like the feeling of being showered. It kind of irks me. I kind of feel like I haven't started my day or I don't feel fully awake. Yeah.
Okay. Do you pick your nose in the car?
I'm going to have to say yes.
Like occasionally, if you have to.
Why are we so aware of our nose, what's in our nose when we're driving?
I don't know, but I do know that I've seen far too many strangers pick their noses when I'm driving. And I feel like if you do it in the car, just know someone is watching. Someone's catching that. I believe that.
Give him a little show, Fanson. That's what I say.
Like you can look around, you can check your mirrors.
Sure,
whatever you need, but somebody is going to catch that. You should know that.
Well, do you? Come on.
No.
Yeah, right. I bet you don't pee. I bet you don't pee in the shower too, hey? No.
Oh, I pee in the shower.
Oh, me too, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when Madonna said she peed in the shower when she was on Letterman, and she was raked over the coals for it. People were like, "Oh, Madonna's so disgusting." She was like, "Come on, Like you don't do it. Like
I found, that she liberated a generation that day.
Oh, nice.
I thought it was really cool that she
brought us a little closer to our own truths.
You got it. I mean, she's gone a bit odd now, but I used to think she was very good at that. But now I don't have much time. Anyway, from a dog.
Yeah. Is it an ageism thing?
It's because she made me wait about an hour and a half for her to come out on stage the last concert, and it was a Wednesday night, and I wasn't impressed at all. So yeah, we broke up that night. I really I have no time for that. None.
I'm so sorry.
No tolerance, Fanson. No. Do your job.
Harsh. Yeah.
Be on time.
No, you got one job. Do it.
And
yeah.
I'm your customer. I'm your client. You don't waltz out an hour and a half late for your customer. That's not cool. I'm paying you. Dance, girl, dance. That sounded weird, but you know what I mean. Do your job. Like be respectful of my time.
Yes.
Why are we now talking?
I agree. You paid good money.
Yeah. I just think.
What about Gwyneth Paltrow? How about her? What about Gwyneth Paltrow? She steams her vag. She's got her vag scented candle. What candle do you think she's going to come out with after COVID? What's the COVID scent?
Lysol. Nice pine fresh.
Could be.
I don't know.
Could be.
That's interesting. How did you research that? Like, is that something that you had, or is that just well known that Gwyneth Paltrow?
Oh, that's well known.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
That was a while ago.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if she's going to have a COVID scent. It was her vag, I think. It was like her scent, apparently. She's pretty smart. That's good marketing.
Now, do you still have more questions for me for hygiene?
I don't have to.
No, I don't want to cut off your list of questions if you still have some.
You wipe back to front?
I'd actually think of that.
Hey man, you asked. We were done.
Before we get into the game that we know and love, would you say that you are doing? Would you say that in this time that has been very challenging? Of course, it's a huge change. Is there something from the self-help world? Something that you read in a book once. I know you haven't read many, but is there anything from the self-help world that is helping you right now? Like, is there anything that you would consider?
Oh, God, that's right. It's sort of a self-help discussion podcast.
No, I'm just wondering. I mean, we don't listen. I think we've covered, lots of good stuff. But it's like, is there anything from self-help that's helping you? Is there?
Safety first.
Safety. Wasn't that like from Wally Watch Out? Isn't that like?
What is it? I don't know where it's from. I haven't read the books.
Well, I know,
it
but
just seems like that's what would apply.
Oh God, you see,
that's what I've got out of this for sure is safety first.
I got to tell you that I have been trying to practice gratitude, right? Because we have faced a lot of loss. A lot of things are missing from our lives. Yes. But I've been really trying to like take a page out of the gratitude, that part of self-help. And I'm trying to be just really mindful of the little wins or the little blessings, those little things to appreciate. The fact that, my loft here has a balcony, so I can enjoy, the sun when it's out and the fresh air without leaving my home. Those kinds of things, just going, taking stock. I don't know. I've been trying to do that.
To be honest, I don't know if I can say that any of this is from a self-help book, but I definitely have found this to be a very, let me start from the beginning. I was born on November 4th, anyway.
Comfortable.
Yeah. But I've really just been examining relationships and people, like people that I've known, people who are in my life, people who aren't in my life. For me, I taking this Yale course.
Yeah.
It's really funny. You're going to laugh. Do you know what my number one strength is? Did you take this course?
Yes,
you didn't take the course. Yeah.
No. Yeah, I've done.
Did you take the survey thing?
God, I'm on week 6.
So you took the survey thing.
Yep.
So you found out what your greatest strength is?
Yep.
What's yours?
Humor.
Yep.
Funny. I'm funny. Turns out I'm funny.
Guess what mine is? You'll never guess.
Well,
I'll give you 3 tries.
I would say, like, I'm trying to think of the ones that were there. Curiosity. I would say one of your big ones would be curiosity. No? Was that not one of the
there,
top?
but
yeah.
These are, look, those are the ones.
Okay. All right. Honesty, fairness, forgiveness, curiosity, fairness. How did you get fairness twice?
I don't know. I guess I'm pretty fair.
Perseverance, perspective, kindness, bravery, love, leadership, humor, creativity. Well, I mean, I think other than fairness, it all makes sense to me. Or honesty, I don't know. I'm just kidding. But I'm surprised that curiosity for you isn't higher, because I think you're one of the most curious human beings I've ever met. But anyway, yeah,
it's just a stupid survey. But you know what I got? I got forgiveness.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I just took that yesterday.
Not an exact science.
It's not an exact science, but no. Like I certainly have. That doesn't mean I don't have issues with things, and I don't have like conflicts with people. To be forgiving is, and again, who cares if the survey is correct or not? To be forgiving doesn't mean you don't have conflicts. It doesn't mean that situations don't arise. It means you can move on from them. That you can, like it's okay. We're just people.
I do think you make a conscious choice to not carry around resentment. I think that's something you probably do a far better job at that than me. But one thing also that I'm trying to do is just trying to really practice being present, because like you said, we don't know what's coming, and we can freak ourselves right out if we're trying to like, well, first of all, control it or manufacture it or trying to figure it all out. And so I really have been just saying, okay, it's Monday. Today's this day. Fancy and I are going to record a podcast episode. That's cool. Okay. Like really, really just trying to take it. I mean, I know it's schmaltzy, but one day at a time, like just, this is what today is. I don't know. Because if I try to, look out and try to figure anything out, that's where the anxiety can lie. So trying to be present.
Yeah.
And I'd say the last thing that I've been trying to, take from the self-help world is to consider, what advantages there are to this. There's this area of psychology called post-traumatic growth, and it's a term that describes the proven positive growth that occurs out of adversity or trauma. So it's actually been proven out of research that when people deal with some kind of setback, whatever you want to call it, that they gain something profound, like a greater appreciation for life or stronger relationships, reorganizes their priorities, new possibilities are presented, spiritual awakening, or feel connected to something bigger than themselves, or a higher level of mental toughness. So, I'm considering the post-traumatic growth from this. Like, how will we come out of this different? I think that's cool. And I think you would probably agree with me that curiosity is a great healer for stress. If we can get curious about it, I think then there's less struggle and there's less.
Well, as I've told you, that's fundamental in my teaching.
Yeah.
I call them my ABCs, always be curious. And that's how I teach my students to stay out of negativity, to stay out of judgment, and to stay in the present moment.
Yep. Yes, there it is. You're a self-helper. You're a helper, Fanson.
I'm all right.
You are. All right. Well, it's time. Is it time, Fanson?
It's time.
It's time to play everyone's favorite game. Name
that guru. I wish we had some snappy music for this. I think we should ask one of our listeners, any of our listeners, to create us a cool little jingle or tune, whatever, verse or instrumental to lead us into this segment.
Even a stanza. Hey, just a little stanza. So this is when we read 3 self-help quotes to each other and we try to identify what self-help author said it. So are you going to go first?
This is where I preamble, not the game, but the entire podcast by saying, if our sound has been shit, it's because we're doing this at home. So we hope that you've listened to the whole thing. Maybe our voices have been cutting in and out. Whatever you've had to deal with, if you've stuck with us, thank you very much. Because this is, it's all trial and error, and we're going to get better every time if we continue to do it from home.
Yes, it's a homegrown podcast at this point, and so I have chosen for this, my theme for this game this week or this episode is kind of like stress, like dealing with stress. Sure. Do you have a theme? Any theme? No?
No.
Okay. you want to go first or shall I?
Kind of.
Right.
Kind of.
Okay.
I have 3 and then I have a bonus.
Oh.
But I do have a theme for
That's
sure.
exciting. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Now remember, since I haven't read the books, well, sometimes we don't know. We just don't know.
We just don't know.
Do you want to go first?
Okay, I'll do one.
Okay.
Stress is caused by being here, but wanting to be there. I thought that was a very appropriate quote for our time. Stress is caused by being here, but wanting to be there. Now, is there an author that is well known for talking about the power of now?
Or just somebody who was having like a torrid affair, like the grass is greener, like one of those mommy bloggers, those drunk mom bloggers. Love you guys. Hold on a sec.
I would
Eckhart Tolle?
You got it, Fanson. But isn't that interesting? Stress is caused by being here but not wanting to be there. But wanting to be there. It's just very basic. But
you ain't being present. You're not grateful for where you are, so you're gonna be unhappy.
Yeah, nailed it. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, it's me. Okay, here we go. A hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles.
Can you give me a hint? Is there any hint? Is there something you can throw me?
Dead.
A bone? He's dead.
He's dead.
Wayne Dyer?
No.
No.
He wore a cape sometimes.
He wore a cape. Okay, so
he fell off a horse.
Oh, Christopher Reeves.
That's it, baby. May not be a self-help author, but one damn fine quote from sometimes Superman.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Here's another one. Our anxiety does not come from thinking about the future, but from wanting to control it. Our anxiety does not come from thinking about the future, but from wanting to control it. I'm going to give you a hint because he's not on our master list. He wrote the book, The Prophet.
Oh, Cooley.
Oh, Paulo Coelho. No, that's
No, that's the Alchemist.
The Alchemist. And you know what? I got these two books confused. I do get.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So this guy, his name is
Khalil
Gibran.
That guy.
Gibran.
Yes, I know.
Author of The Prophet. I read that book years ago.
Say it.
And I want to read it again. And I think you would like that book too. Or you've read it.
I have read it.
Okay.
I love how you just assume I haven't read anything.
No,
like
I actually
ever.
No. But then I realized that wasn't like real big like self-help, that it was just a really like beautiful book. And I bet she did read it. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. Should I do 3 and a bonus or just 3?
Whatever, Fanson. You just do what you're inspired to do.
Okay.
We've been here this long. I mean, come on. It's
okay,
fine.
This is for everybody like sitting at home day after day, growing hair in unwanted places and sneezing and farting in front of their loved ones. Okay.
Yes.
One's dignity may be assaulted, vandalized, and cruelly mocked, but it can never be taken away unless it is surrendered.
Yeah, surrendered. Now, is this actually a self-help author? Is this actually someone?
See, the thing is, when you do mine, you have to figure out like what my theme might be if I actually say I have one. So take what you think you already know.
See, I just the pool of possible authors of the quotes of yours, it's massive, right?
Yeah.
So
it's for everybody.
It is for everybody. It's the everyman's name that guru.
This is why you're the junkie and I'm the skeptic. This is how it all breaks down.
Is there any kind of hint?
He has a middle initial that most people say when they say his name.
Oh.
His last name is an animal.
Oh, oh, okay.
Half our listeners have it by now. And there's only 2 of them. So, and one of them's me.
Are you a subscriber, Frances?
So basically, I'm the only one who knows the answer.
I'm definitely following us on Spotify.
That's the math I just created.
Yeah. I have no, I just don't know. I don't know. I'm blanking.
I'll tell you.
I hate myself.
Family Ties. Back to the Future.
Right. Michael J.
Fox. There we go.
I don't even remember the quote anymore.
One's dignity may be assaulted, vandalized, and cruelly mocked, but it can never be taken away unless it is surrendered. And I'm assuming he made that up. Could have been somebody else's. Could have been lifted. I don't know.
Sure.
I can't verify that.
It is. It's a vast pool of potential.
It is.
Quotes. All right.
What have you figured out so far?
That's really never a self-help author.
Okay, we'll go with that for now.
Okay, here's my last one. I really felt this quite beautiful. In the woods, we return to reason and faith. There, I feel that nothing can befall me in life. No disgrace, no calamity, which nature cannot repair.
Grizzly Adams. No?
This guy has a 3. He has, his name is 3. And we have quoted him before. One of the old guys, the old guard, back from, I would say the 40s, 50s, maybe even earlier. 3 names. First name starts with an R.
Oh, so it's not G.K. Chesterton.
I know, you love him so much.
He's my boy. It starts with an R?
Yeah.
Rick Springfield?
Okay. I'll let you know.
I broke that into 3.
Yeah. It's Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Oh, Ralphie. We just talked about him the other day.
Yeah, we sure did. Anyway, I loved that.
My powers of retention are not great.
I don't think mine is either. All
just
right.
Just not. I hate tests. Anyway. Okay. Last one. And if you've got, there's a theme. But anyway, these are mad times. But there have been a lot of mad times in the world.
So, like, we're talking an actor from like the 80s, 70s, 80s. Like, Christopher Reeves and Michael J. Fox. They were popular in the like 70s and 80s more so than now.
Yeah.
That was their heyday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a bit of 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Mad times. Like what, Mr. T?
Nope. But she's
gotta give me
comedy.
credit though.
That's good. Mad times.
Mad times. Suckers.
Pity the fool.
Pity the fool in these mad times.
This one also has like not 3 names, but and she's a Canadian comedy icon. And this quote is when she was being interviewed by the formidable Canadian comedian host Sam B. in 2016.
God, I just feel like my brain is just mush. It's got to be.
Oh, shit. It's hard, huh? Shit. It's like being up a creek with no paddle.
Okay, she's on Schitt's Creek. No. Oh, shit. I don't know. Yeah? Oh, sort of. She's a writer on Schitt's Creek. Oh, I don't know.
She plays Moira, Catherine O'Hara.
Oh, Catherine O'Hara. Oh, I was thinking 3 names. Like she had like the middle name.
I went,
right. Oh, so you were working with syllables. And
yes.
That's fine. I was visualizing Catherine O'Hara, and then I couldn't remember her name. Honest to God, I do think I'm not cognitively sharp right now. I think that's very clear. I think you should
really give yourself a break. I mean, these are so out of nowhere.
I know, but I'm like,
because some people are going to get them and some people won't. Catherine O'Hara also said, when in doubt, play insane, which is my bonus. And I'm just giving it away because I love it so much.
I like it. She's amazing. Yes, I'm going to try to be kind to myself and be compassionate. Let's take that from the self-help world. Let's take that. Yes, we have to be very kind to ourselves. Like Brene Brown said, it's a fucking first time. It's an FFT. We're doing our best.
I think the one thing we understand about self-care, self-love, self is how you treat yourself is how you treat others. Really. If you're shit to yourself, you're probably still being shit to others. You learn to take care of yourself, you learn to love yourself, and then you can give the good stuff away.
Yes. That was beautiful, Fanson. I don't know. I was just like, okay, all right. Well, so this has been really
totally off base on this, but
so yeah, that's it. Hey, you're Kelly Fanson,
and you're Susan Stewart,
and
we're still a hot mess. See you later, buddy.
Bye.
You make a mess. You make a mess of me. You make a mess. You make a mess of me.
Welcome to our gratitude moment. Big thanks to Monkey Junk for their song, You Make a Mess. You can download their whole song anywhere you download music. Thanks to our sponsor, Purple Jade Wellness Center. And also thanks to the Pod Plant. This is where our voices go into these mics through the magical power of Mike Wixon and into your ears.
And are you a subscriber? Make sure you subscribe to our show so you don't miss out on any new episodes. And be sure to hang out with us on social media. You can find us on Facebook at Still a Hot Mess and follow us on Instagram at Still a Hot Mess Podcast.
And thanks to you, Susan Stewart.
And thanks to you, Fanson.
You make a mess of me.